Did you ever feel like you are not dropping enough fracturing shards? Do you think Harbinger farming is boring? I'm Exhausta, and in today's video I'm going to change your mind and reveal my best farming strategy for Harbingers. As you know, there are different ways to farm Harbingers. Just mapping with Scarabs, Sextant, and a dedicated Atlas passive tree is the most popular choice right now, but not necessarily the most profitable or enjoyable. Beached maps, on the other side, are just terrible in this meta because they are so slow, so unrewarding. There are still two other options though, which would be the Kirax memories, and the best one that we are going to review today is the Kirax memory of Survivor's Guild. When playing this memory, players in areas are imbued with the form of Harbingers, and every item they drop is replaced by a currency shard. And do you know what increases the amount of items dropped? You guessed it, Magic Find and Party Play. This is a very unique mechanic for Harbinger farming because normally when you are mapping, currency shards do not scale in number with item quantity and not even with party play or item rate. To verify if all of this is true, I made a very simple experiment. First, I removed all of my Magic Find gear, then I removed my jewels, and then I filled my characters with legacy combustibles jewels that provide 10% reduced quantity in order to get minus 100% quantity. With this setup, no items can drop, but as you can see, while you're mapping, currency shards keep dropping as normal, with and without Atlas passive notables allocated. And funny discovery, I also dropped a master memory, which means they are not affected by quantity at all. Instead, when I tried Kirax memory, Magic Find worked as expected, and with a minus 100% quantity, no currency shards dropped for me whatsoever. And now that we confirmed this mechanic, let's take a closer look at the modifiers on the maps of the memory chain, and you'll find a very powerful mod. Players have 4% chance to summon a pack of Harbinger's monsters on kill. This gets more powerful on each consecutive map, as you can see, 5% on the second map, 6% on the third, and finally 7% on the final map. If we want to abuse this mechanic as much as possible, we must increase the number of monsters in our maps. And since we cannot use Sextant or Scarabs in memories, we only have two possible strategies, which would be Beyond and Delirium. You can roll Beyond on your map by chaos spamming and eventually getting a total of 6 modifiers by using an Exalted Orb. And remember, Beyond has incredible synergy with Harbingers because Harbinger monsters are spawned all close together, allowing to create a lot of Beyond portals. Then you can apply those Delirium Orbs, and each Delirium Orb adds additional monsters. But in my opinion, you should really stop at 80% Delirium, and here is why. In this kind of memories, monsters are getting buffed with up to 40% increased damage and, as you can see, 160% more life, which is really a lot and makes them incredibly tanky. 100% Delirium is going to be extremely tough, and the monsters are so tanky that even very high budget builds become very slow in clearing the maps. Another important factor you should consider is the starting location for your Kirax memory. My favorite choice is quite surprising, rather unusual. It's Desert Spring. This map has a high natural count of monsters, and the boss spawns many little scorpions that can themselves spawn Harbingers. Now, when you apply a memory on the Atlas, the path it creates always goes up, and Desert Spring is connected to many high monster count maps such as Thicket, Burrows, Temple, and Tropical Island. While these are not the greatest layout on the Atlas, all we care about again is simply the amount of monsters we kill in order to spawn Harbingers and optimize our profit. Let's now talk about the reason you clicked this video. Let's talk about profit. And here is the Magic Find Academy strategy guide, the giant Google spreadsheet I've been working on for a very long time. In the Harbinger page, my team and I included everything you need to know about every single farming strategy for Harbingers, along with detailed profit calculator comparisons. So first we see the farming results for mapping, and as you can see, they are quite decent. We got 5.3 divines and 3.1 divines per hour, assuming maps are about 2.5 minutes. And this is with fairly low investment, just the Harbinger Sextant, Gilded Harbinger Scarab. But when we go to the Kirak memory of the Survivors Guild, well, the results become much better, both especially with Magic Find. So in standard, when we have 200 quantity, the profit per hour is, as a solo player, 7.1 divines. And this is without counting the mirror shard that I dropped, which would make it 12 divine per hours. And then we got the party play, and in standard you would gain almost 20 divines per hour when playing with about 4 men in a party. That's really great. And about League, if we consider that we can get up to 100 increased quantity of items found, we got something like 4.5 divines per hour, and for party play, almost 12 divines per hour. So as you can see, the potential for this strategy is much higher than just the flat values of Harbinger mapping. Additionally, we should mention though that no magic find on these strategies isn't really that great. These maps are very expensive to run because you have to roll each maps composing the memory, and so your costs are quite high. Also, it's worth mentioning that maps take a long time to complete, about 30 minutes in total for all 4 maps, and you should keep that in mind if you're planning your farming session around this type of strategy. Finally, we can get the results for the Kirak memory of Faril, if that's the correct pronunciation. This is a very different memory compared to the Survivors Guild. There are just some portals for Harbingers and a lot of them are spawning, but this memory isn't really that great. The profit per hour is 0.3 divines in standard, 0.2 in League. It really sucks. And the same goes for Beachhead. Yes, the profit is kind of decent, but unless you are selling the portals for the experience, you're not getting high profit from that. And to be honest, it isn't even the best strategy to level up nowadays. Legion farming is just so much better. And due to the high cost of infused Beachhead, that is also rather unprofitable. We also got negative values here. The League calculation is kind of bugged right now, I think, but whatever, it is not really a big deal. You can easily understand infused Beachhead isn't that much better than Beachhead, and in fact it might even be worse. Overall, this Kirak's memory Harbinger strategy requires very high investment, but it really pays off, and the gameplay for this type of content is extremely fun, with a lot of monsters constantly spawning and the currency shards dropping everywhere. On top, since you're only picking up currency, reselling your loot will be super easy and fast. Before saying goodbye, I want to thank you all of the officers and the members of the Magic Find Academy Discord server who helped me with the profit calculation for the farming strategy. You guys were great. If you liked this video, please remember to subscribe, like and comment because this really helps the channel. Have a good time and farm many Fracturing Orbs.